Estoy en ello. Okay, so hi everyone. Now finally we have Sharon with us. We're gonna invite her if this actually works, which will be very nice. Here we are, and we're waiting for her.
Hi guys, I'm sorry.
Hello, Sharon. Usually it's the Spaniards being late, not the
Oh
Dutch.
no, I'm you know, my heart is in Spain always. You can notice.
How are you doing, Sharon?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm very fine. My name is Sergi. I'm the head of Metal Hammer Spain and the metalcircus.com, which are the main media here. And we're so happy to have you here, you know, during this very shitty period for music and for live activity. But, you know, I think that's musicians and the industry and the media too. We have tried to, you know, be a bit closer together and making, you know, people be a little bit entertained at their house. Now, of course, they don't care because they can go on the street anyway, so they don't give a shit
about this.
Who cares about fucking Instagram takeovers? So I'm actually happy because, you know, I was listening for, you know, a few days to the new song, and I have to say that I was pretty into it, and you know, first off, my congratulations, and I'd like to know, you know, if this is anything to go by for the rest of the record, if it's going to be in the same vein, it's just, you know, the best song that you had, so the other ones are crap.
Maybe, I don't know yet.
So it's totally finished now?
No. The thing is that we had, of course, our previous album was released last year in February, Resist. And then we had a big tour, also before the album came out already. And the thing was that we were unexpectedly going on tour with Evanescence, you know, this co-headline tour called the Worlds Collide Tour. And it came a little bit unexpected for us, this tour. So doing the same, more or less, countries, we felt like we need to bring something new to the table. And we felt like we need to bring, of course, new music. Otherwise, it's going to be a bit boring for everybody, for their fans, but also for us, because we want to play something new. And so we started writing after the previous tour, which was last year, and in November. And we immediately had a lot of ideas. And one of the best ones, to our opinion, was this one. And we felt like, okay, let's record this one and another song that we like very much. And we're just going to release it in the now, because for the tour and also for the new festivals we had planned. But of course, everything's postponed now. So we felt like, okay, what are we going to do? Are we going to go ahead with this release, or are we going to postpone it as well? And we felt like, you know, also for us, as for everyone who knew that we were going to bring something new to the table, we felt like, okay, for everyone, also for us, we want to release this now, because I think everybody needs something new. Also us, you know, we've been working forward to it, been excited to share this with you guys. And the cool thing about it is that it's so quickly released. You know, normally when we bring out a new album, it takes 2 or 3 years, and now this song is just a few months in between of writing and releasing. And that's something that we want to experiment with. So with new songs, immediately to our fans, like, what do you think? Do you like it? Not everything's going to be a single like this one, but some will be more like a fan releases. And but this one, we felt like, yeah, this is really a song that we believe in, and we think, yeah, we need to share it in a big time. Also because it's a new way of releasing new songs for us. So we want to spend more attention to it.
Now you have that freedom, because I think this is the first time that you're going fully independent. You know, of course, you've always been like doing, keeping the rights your own, and then you just license the record to a company. But this time you're just releasing it yourself, and you're doing it the way you want. So what's the best aspect, you know? I guess, you know, the freedom to, as you know, as you said, you know, just put it out there, you know, without any kind of thinking about what the record company needs to do, or, you know, the promotion plan, or you just can just put it out there on streaming platforms.
Yeah, but the thing is that you're directly in control of when you want to release it, and there's, you know, it's not like they don't have time, or it has to be, you know, because there's so many bands with a record company. And of course, you know, everybody has their planning. So, but for us, it was really like, okay, when we decide something to do, we do it immediately, and it's just, yeah, you're close to the ball, and that's really nice. So yeah, we're pioneering. That's the nice thing about it. For us, anyway, for us, our kind of music.
Well, you know, I talk to a lot of bands, and usually one of their biggest frustrations is that they have to sit on the record for 3 to 6 months when it's finished. So you're roaring to go, you're so excited, you know, you're just out of the studio, you just want everybody to hear your masterpiece, and then you have to sit on it for, like, you know, half a year before everything gets rolled out. So that's probably the best thing, right? You know, the fact that you don't need to have the anxiety now about that.
It's still hot. It's still, you know, it just came from, you know, the cooking machine or whatever you want to call it. It's still, it's still hot from the presses, you know. So it's like, okay, done it, release it. Yeah, best thing.
So you were pretty much on a roll, I guess, you know, because after the last record took a while, you had a bit of a block too, and then you did, you know, your own project. But now it seems that you're, like, you know, on a roll writing wise. So I'd like to know if any of the new material is something that came from the Resist sessions that you maybe saved, or you were pretty productive throughout those years and you just kept some stuff for different records.
No. When we have something we really like, we can't keep it for ourselves. That's the thing. That's why we're so quickly now. This is really from November, and we recorded it in January, February. Also the video, a big part of it, but also the last things weren't able to do were done in the homes and kitchens and gardens of everyone. So that was like, okay, the final dots needed to be done at home, and improvise a bit. So, but no, it was all done in the last few months, and we didn't keep anything back from the Resist area because there was nothing to keep back, because we released everything so far, and this is something really new.
If you take away the guitars from Entertain You, I mean, it's a song that could be sung by I mean, Lady Gaga to Demi Lovato to, you know, whoever. You know, it's a great pop song if you take away the harsh guitar parts or the bombastic drums. So I'd like to know if you've always had that pop sensibility to your music, but I'd like to know if going over your own project, My Indigo, helped you rediscover that pop flavor in your writing.
What we try to do is, like, this kind of music is maybe not going to be played on normal radio, especially because the fact that there's heavy guitars, and that's typically with invitation. And the thing is that we wanted to, you know, make that sometimes crossover of things that we like so much, but, you know, this is a little bit how we want to sound now. And that's with every album. We try to figure out how do we want to sound, and what is doesn't feel outdated and stuffy and old. We want to sound new. We want to sound refreshing, exciting for ourselves, not for other people, just because this is what we like doing. And we try to find that combination of what makes it 2020 instead of 2005 sound wise. And then you have to combine, for us, the way we found it, for us, which we think is the key for us anyway, is to combine it with certain kind of elements of other styles and try to find that combination with heavy music. And that's really difficult, actually. It's not like there's a formula that you put on and it works. It doesn't, because we had to really search for this emotion in combination with other styles. And I think it worked out for this song, but it's very difficult to reproduce for another song, and we're not trying to. It's more like what comes out naturally and what feels right, that's what we're making. We're not thinking like, oh, let's put this pop element in there because then it will sell or something. That's not how we work. It's working like, what do you feel? What do you want to tell? What kind of emotion am I feeling, and how can I express it in the best way?
So, you know, as a sort of a metal observant through the years, and you have been to, you know, within the scene, I found that if you look at the great songs that were very popular from the 80s, you know, the songs that we all love by, you know, whatever, you know, Iron Maiden, Bon Jovi, or any of the great bands from the era or the 70s, they were actually pop songs with guitars, with heavy guitars, but the structure was very pop. And would you say that metal got too complicated or too dark, too harsh in the last few years? And, you know, we were missing a little bit of that pop aspect, that, you know, easy, catchy, easy listening sort of feeling?
Well, maybe, I don't know. You know, the only thing that what I think is that there wasn't a lot of development in the metal, which I think, you know, I think the scene would be much bigger if it would have evolved a little bit more. And I'm not making complaints or anything, but it's more like that's something that we're always trying to find to, like, you know, when you want to be, how can I say this in the best way? Well, you try to find a way to connect with the people who are growing up nowadays, and also the same audience that you had for long years. And to do that, you have to sound, that's what I'm trying to say, sound-wise also, and it has to do with everything else was happening in the world, also topics, but also the music, and you have to go along with certain kind of development. And I felt like, since, for instance, I think that Linkin Park was the last band that did something for the scene, you know, like bring something new to the table. Everybody's like, whoa, what amazing. And they inspired a lot of other bands. And I don't see any bands who are so different from the majority of bands that there are, that there's missing some kind of development at the moment. And I think it's coming, but it's not there yet. And I think I hear a lot of bands like Bring Me the Horizon are experimenting a lot, and Asking Alexandria, a lot of bands, you know, and some of them are really trying to, and some are really content with what they're doing and how they sound, and are not really searching for a different sound, which is also okay, because there's a certain audience for that. But I think we are a band, like some of the ones that I just mentioned, who are always searching for, like, okay, what can we do to make it interesting for our music, and especially for ourselves, because we want to develop ourselves and find new ways to reconnect with all generations.
Besides, I guess that, you know, on a personal level, for all the members of Within Temptation, what you were listening to back in 2002, 2003 is not the same stuff that you're listening in 2020.
No,
the way it influences you.
Yeah, well, things have changed, but I still love the bands that I used to love. I still love Type Negative. I still love Paradise Lost, who did an amazing new album, by the way. And, you know, but also bands like Enya, Planet. Those are the things that I was inspired by when I started. So I was always, and you can hear that back in the Celtic stuff that we did, of course. And then, of course, there's new stuff coming up, and you wanna experiment with that as well. So that's how it goes.
So what are you usually listening to, or what is the last? This is usually a tricky question, because we listen to a lot of music, but we don't have the artist on the top of our head all the time. But what's the things that you're listening to recently that you say, okay, you know, this actually, it's very good?
Well, I've been like Bring Me the Horizon is one of the bands that I like a lot, and because they're experimenting, and but there are so many out there. But you know, it's more like it's especially for me, like, listen to all kinds of music, and without thinking about it, you pick up on things and you combine it with the thing that you're already doing, and it makes a new sound eventually. Yeah, it's a little bit like magic, you know. You have like a painting. You don't know what you're gonna make until you've made it, and it's like, okay, I didn't know that was in my system, and it comes out somehow.
What's the artist that you would never admit to listening to?
Sorry?
What's the artist that you would never admit to listening to? I like the Spice Girls.
I've got many.
I love the first Spice Girls record. I know all the lyrics.
Well, I know all the lyrics of Grease.
Okay.
I grew up with Grease. Grease was my first love, because I fell in love with the voice of Olivia Newton-John, and I loved the movie a lot, but also the drama of the film, of course. But yeah, especially her voice, and it made me start singing, actually. But I was 4 years old, and I played it for at least 10 years, and I still, when I hear it, I can sing every word with it, along every song, any song you can make. I can sing it. And another thing is, you know, I told someone recently, which I didn't tell that many people yet in my life, is, you know, people will look differently at her when I tell the story. Mariah Carey was actually the one that I could, because of her, I became more of a technical singer, because I never had lessons, but by listening to her, and she has a big register from low to very high. And by training with her songs, especially the first 3 albums, it really helped me, well, you know, to sing better. And I drove my parents crazy. I was like 15, 16, I don't know. And rewinding like the high notes and then higher and higher and higher. And, you know, the windows didn't crack. I'm still amazed about it. But I drove my parents crazy. It's like, why are you doing this? I said, well, you know, I want to learn. And I said, well, why don't you go to a music school? Because I can only learn the flute and how to read notes. I don't want to read notes. I don't want to play a flute. I want to sing, Mom. I can remember that conversation.
No, it's a bit different, you know, because you can learn. You know, there's even metal schools around, you know, that you can learn how to sing.
Nowadays
like,
there are. Yeah.
Anything, you know, like from harsh vocals to anything. There's one here in we're located in Barcelona, and there's one here called the Metal Academy, and they teach you, you know, like anything, you know, from double bass techniques for death metal, and if you want to play, you know, progressive technical death metal from 1989, you know, you can learn that. So, you know, so it's very precise, and it's it goes to show you, you know, how metal has become a genre of its own in terms of, you know, learning the music.
Yeah, totally.
You need to learn properly how to sing some stuff, because then you see a lot of singers, and probably you've seen that through your career, that they just completely destroy their voice because they have no technique or anything.
Yeah, totally. I totally agree. And the thing is that I did eventually go to several teachers, vocal teachers, and they said to me, you know, there's several ways to Rome. And if you don't have any problems with your voice, if it doesn't hurt what you're doing, and you can, that's the only guideline that you have to look after, is like, when it hurts, you do something wrong. And you immediately feel it. When you're singing something that you can't do, then, you know, then there's something, the way you do it is not working for you. So I'm self-taught, but I can do several things in different ways nowadays, and it works for me. And like I said, Mariah Carey is for me like the Steve Vai among vocalists. You know, so everybody was playing a guitar and trying to play Steve Vai. I was singing Mariah Carey.
So does it take a lot out of you when you're on tour? Do you are you a big rehearser, a big you know, big into warming up before shows? Or you are naturally gifted in the sense that, you know, you just go out there and, you know, belt your vocals and do it great?
Of course, I have to warm up my voice. You know, it's a muscle. You need to warm it a little bit. I'm not like hours before that I don't speak to people or I'm training, not at all. I am like a half hour, 40 minutes max, because otherwise if I do too much, I might lose my voice in the end because it gets hoarse. And so, no, for me, it doesn't work to be that intensively busy with singing, but it's like a half hour, 40 minutes max.
I have some dogs around here.
Yeah, I can hear it. I only have a cat, so if you hear something mowing, then it's my cat.
Actually, I have a dog downstairs at the on the first floor. So my dog loves to just go out there in the balcony and bark at him. Just like, you know, fuck you, you know. They just hate each other completely. And I have the small one, which is this little one here.
Oh, but that's not little. That's huge.
Yeah, well, that's 13
way bigger
kilos.
than my cats.
The other one is even bigger, so she's just starting to go here.
Oh, this is a sweet one.
Sorry about that. They were looking for attention.
I'm waiting to get everybody sending hearts and everything.
So, I have to say that, of course, you know, it's been a big bummer for everybody that the tour with Evanescence wasn't working out. Of course, you know, it's been a bummer that, you know, 300,000 people have died in the world. You know, that's the biggest bummer. Yeah. But musically speaking, you know, everybody was pretty much looking forward for that tour. You know, generationally, I think that for anyone that was into music back in 2003 to 2006, you know, that was their tour, you know, like watching Iron Maiden and Judas Priest go on a stadium tour or something like that for anyone from the 80s. Yeah, so who was the idea, you know, to do that tour? If it was just a matter of managers and agents, or you actually liked each other as bands and wanted to work together?
We met because Amy asked us to come and see her show. And we did in Amsterdam in, well, I think 1.5 years ago, something like that. It was not that long ago, almost, 1.5 years, yes, something like that. And I saw her, and normally when you meet someone for the first time, it's a lot of chit chat. It doesn't go really deep, you know. It's like hi, nice weather, and everything. Say hi, and then bye again after a very short while. But with her, I came in, I got a glass of wine. It works for me very well, and for her as well. And we had a real conversation with somebody I never met before, because I saw her once at Download in England. We played at the same stage, but we didn't get into conversation because we were both very busy with promotion, which you always are with festivals. There's a lot of promotion to do. And so that they invited us was really cool. It's like, okay, let's see the show. I'm really curious because she had an orchestra with her, and I was really curious how it would sound with her music as well. And so when I met her, I was like, okay, talking about the sense of life, you know, and I was surprised about it, and she was surprised as well. So I went away with a lot of goosebumps, like, okay, I expected a lot, but I didn't expect this to happen. You know, it's like, I was really like, this is a conversation I'm gonna remember always. And so we stayed in contact, and we gave each other's phone number, and we got in a conversation about how cool it would be to do something together, because we had this connection at that evening and felt like, okay, this feels good. And we had a lot of options. Several things came to the table, and we felt like a tour was the best thing to do, something to really get to know each other and to have a nice tour, you know, with another band that you appreciate, and that which is going to be a really nice combination for the fans, because I think we have a big overlap in the fans. So let's do this tour, and that's how it went. And we had a festival in Switzerland that we were both playing, and we felt like, okay, if we can combine it with a photo shoot, do the promotion, you know, like pre-promotion stuff that people might gonna ask for, record that already at the same day, and then we can go from there. And that's what we did. There was a photographer flew in from America and he took the pictures, and we did a lot of promo stuff, and that was it. And then we started preparations for it.
So now that's currently postponed to September, which is just, you know, an idea of that, you know, something could happen in September, but we're not sure. Nothing is sure at this moment. There's no certainty in anything. So is there a plan B already for next year? Maybe, you know, just same dates, but 2021 or something like that?
If it's not gonna happen this September, it will be next year September. But, you know, we're still hoping for this year September, but you know, we need to have a medicine or a vaccine for any show to happen, for anything to happen above 100 people in the Netherlands. So if that's the standard for most countries, you know, I really hope it goes fast, but we need a vaccine to test everything. It's going to take a long time. So hopefully, if it's not going to be this September, it will be next year September.
So actually, in terms of logistics, were you already like sending stuff over to the first countries? Were you already in rehearsal mode? Did Evanescence already send stuff over to Europe for the tour? Did it actually make significant losses for you? Merchandise being printed, you know, because a lot of bands have taken very big economical hits with the cancellation.
Yeah,
so
know,
was that your case, or were you able to?
No, we did make, of course, I think, you know, of course we had sent a lot of things over. Things were already, we were almost ready to go. It was like 5 minutes before 12 o'clock, you know, and Cinderella wasn't supposed to be wearing her shoes yet. So we put them in the closet, and as soon as she is able to put her shoes on, we're going to rock this boat, you know, and we're going to do this. And so it doesn't matter that certain costs were made, you know, everybody made costs, everybody bought a ticket already, you know, and so yeah, that's the chance of doing things like this. There's always a risk, of course. So I don't really care about that. I just hope that the tour is going to happen, and that's what we're aiming for. Everybody wants this tour to happen, so I'm going to make it happen. I don't care what it takes. I'm looking so much forward to it, and she is too, and the band as well, both bands. So this is going to happen in the end, and I don't know when exactly. Hopefully this September. If not, we're going to reschedule again. So and everything that was printed and everything, it's all fine. The only thing that really hurts me is the fact that I see so many people who are hired by bands. They're all self-employed. They have a more of a big struggle. So I'm not here to be complaining about that at all, because I'm more worried about them, and I hope I can have my own crew again that I was supposed to be having on tour and we'll be having on tour hopefully with next September. So it's I just hope that everybody's able to maintain themselves until that time.
So do you think that governments have been helpful? You know, because in Spain, what this showed is that there's a lot of precarious situations within the music world. As you said, you know, it's not only the musicians, but also like people who, you know, the riggers on stage or technicians or, you know, runners who drive bands and crews here and there. So a lot of people has been shown to be, you know, without any sort of help, official help from the government. Yeah. So I don't know about your country. Has it been a bit better? Does the government, you know, take better care of people?
Well, they did, you know, this group of people was able to get a standard fee for a certain amount of months to come by that they have something to support themselves with, to pay their bills and to pay their rents and those kind of things. So there was a small support, but it doesn't come close to what they normally earn, of course. And but I'm especially, it's you know, it's especially with people who are specialized in things like light technicians, sound technicians. Runners, of course, can still work for somebody else as a career, you know, as a career. But somebody who's a light technician, yeah, that's difficult. There's no, where are you going to do light? There's no events. None of the events are going to happen. If it's music or something else, it's not going to happen. So, you know, they have to learn something different, you know, or I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult for them. They have a certain profession that you can't do anything else with. Mm-hmm. And if you're a runner for a band, you know, get stuff and stuff, you can work for many different companies and branches. And so
actually, do you think that this will make people a bit more appreciative, maybe? Because I don't know if you have the same feeling, you know, maybe with social media and all that stuff. I was getting the feeling that through the last few years, people got a bit spoiled for choice. They had too many festivals, too many bands, too many everything, so they complained a lot. This festival didn't have the bands that I like, you know, or this band hasn't made the record that I wanted.
Well, people are always complaining. I'm always complaining. It's human. I don't think that will ever change. But I do think that people realize now how much it meant for them to be outside together, to hug each other, to be able to feeling that excitement when a band comes up. And because I have the same thing when I go to a band that I like, I'm like, oh, I can't wait, you know. It's like that thrill. You can't compare it to anything else, for me anyway, but that's what music does for everyone.
So let's go back to the past, you know, for you know, 15 years ago, you know, when Silent Force was out and you were on the top of everything, you know, with Stand My Ground and all that stuff. Did it actually, you know, what were you thinking at that moment? Like, was it a surprise? Were you expecting that sort of worldwide success?
No.
Well, you know,
we never expected anything. I think that was the best thing about the best way to protect ourselves, I guess, as a band, because I think we're from a country where they say, you know, act normal, then you're already strange enough. That's a saying that we have here in Dutch. Dutch always think that everything is crazy what everybody else is doing. So we never expected anything. There was, you know, with Ice Queen already, it was a huge hit in so many countries. And we didn't expect that. We could leave our day jobs and just focus on music completely because of that success. And we were very grateful for that. And then we had another success, which was Step My Ground. And we didn't see that coming either, because you never know. Music is crazy. It's magic. And sometimes magic happens and sometimes it doesn't. And, you know, you just go for the song. You just believe in your music and you just go for it. And you hope something will happen because you love it yourself so much. And so you hope to give everyone else the same kind of passion and fire for the music that you love so much. But sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. There's no formula for that. So it's like it happens or not. And when it happens, you're completely, you know, like, what is happening? Wow, we loved it, but I didn't know that everybody else was gonna like it.
At that moment, I remember just seeing you on TV here in Spain, which is not the most metal country at all. You know, we are, you know, here TV and big media are more into like national sort of pop or indie artists. And I remember seeing Within Temptation on TV, on commercials and stuff like that. I was like, what the fuck's going on? You know, you know, what sort of planet is this? You know, and it was like a sort of a, for the metal people, it was sort of a great moment, you know, like because everybody feels collectively that you have achieved something, because you know someone is taking care of our music, you know, in a way, because we're always feeling like, you know, we're the little ones in a way, you know.
Yeah, totally.
So I think that that has changed, you know, a lot in the past few years. Metal has become a lot more mainstream in a way. Do you see that also, you know, from your perspective, that metal has become a part of pop culture socially, and it's not that thing that yeah, you're listening to heavy metal, you must be a drug addict or, you know, kill kittens, you know, that sort of thing.
Well, you know, you see it. The strange thing is, when a certain song or a band has a certain success, like Nirvana did, for instance, it became almost a fashion. You know, the jackets, the clothes they were wearing, the ripped jeans and everything, and then it passed again like a fashion. While music is never, for the artist itself, a fashion. It's something that's honest and pure, and you hope it will stay. And I felt like, you know, what you see is like you're hot one moment and the next moment it's gone again, and that's also logical because there's the next thing that people will pick up. And metal didn't stay in the mainstream. I don't think that. I do think that because of Metallica, you know, years back when they had their big breakthrough to the mainstream, I think that was really the first time I felt like people saw like, oh, this is pretty cool. It's actually really cool. And with every band who had success after that, and before it also with Nirvana, of course, there was, I don't know if it was around the same time. Nothing Else Matters was, I think,
91.
after. Was after, right?
Yeah, it was pretty much the same time, because
Same time,
Nirvana
yeah.
was 91 and the Black Album was 1990, 1991, so it was same period.
I'm happy that you know.
I have Wikipedia here open.
Anyway, but I felt like then it was accepted, but then it went away again, and you know, new things came and more pop stuff, and that will always be the mainstream thing. And I think in the Netherlands, you know, they will play, for instance, Metallica, the songs they had as a hit, you know, and Nirvana. But if any other band with heavy guitars comes on with a new song, they won't play it because not everybody knows. It's a such strange way how that works. But I don't care, you know. I think it's cool that we have so many people still that like our music, and you know, it's the way of the world. This is how things go. It comes and it goes again, and I think it's up to yeah, the next generation and all the new bands coming up to bring something new to the table. I hope something will come back again that will surprise everybody. That they will get appreciated by everyone.
Do you get tired a bit of the whole gothic metal tag, you know, that's been there forever? Because the band has, as we were saying at the beginning of the interview, that the band kept evolving and doing different things. And just saying that, you know, Within Temptation equals gothic metal, you know, that's short-sighted in a way. So have you gotten a bit tired of being thrown into that bag?
Well, you know, the image of that era of our music was so strong that people will always remember me as the girl with the dress. You know, that's what they say always. Oh, the girl with the dress. Oh, you mean Within Temptation? Then everybody knows which band it is. So the image was really strong of how we present our image, apparently, and that was of course had a gothic label to it. I never felt that we were a gothic band, to my personal opinion, but not that I hated it or anything. It was like we had a certain album which had some gothic elements to it, but with every album we changed so much, like you said. So I don't think it's completely, it's not really completely correct, because, you know, I think symphonic metal was maybe the most generic way to give us a name, and everybody understood what kind of music we were making. And I still feel that way. So I think gothic metal is, or female fronted metal, which I think is more silly even. You know, but I don't mind. You know, whatever anybody feels like, I don't care. You know, it's just, I know that we're very much changing with every album. It's okay for me.
So going back to the new record, you know, what's the idea, you know, time frame that you're working with for the release? Because now we got the single. We have a possible tour of, we wish it can happen in September. So what's the time frame you have in mind at the moment, or you're just waiting and seeing what goes on? We
have to see how things are going when this tour is gonna eventually happen. So that will be in our minds, of course, when to release new songs and everything, and a new album eventually, because the album is not finished at all. We just recorded a few songs, and so what we're gonna do now is after this song, we're gonna write more music, and in the meantime, we're gonna release a few songs this year. Not all singles, like I said, maybe more fan songs, more for our own fan base. And this one we gave a lot of publicity by making also a video and everything. And we'll see after the maybe 1 or 2 releases this year. I'm not sure. It depends a little bit how things are going. And next year the same. And eventually there will be an album. Maybe end of next year. Maybe after that. I'm not sure. It depends a little bit because this is for us also new. You know, we're writing songs, recording it, and immediately releasing it. And so yeah, normally you combine it with a tour because then it makes sense in a way, because you're you know, that's the way how it goes. You release something, then you have to back it up with a tour somehow. And there's no tour yet because we don't know when it's going to happen eventually. So that's a little bit like guessing and playing around and pioneering. Like, okay, what's the best thing? What feels right? So we're just, you know, our compass is on, and we feel like, okay, this is a good thing to do. We're going to go with it. So it's all, I don't know.
It's all new for everybody. But does it make sense for you, for instance? I guess that, you know, if you're a band like, let's say, Kiss, you know, it makes sense to do a record because, you know, you were born into that system. But bands who are still like young bands, you know, like Within Temptation, you can still change.
A young band. Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
As a young band.
Yeah, yeah. And I have hair, but just a little hair.
5 years later.
But you know, if you compare it to, I don't know, the Purple, you know, you're a young band.
True, you're right.
So you can still innovate and be a bit more up to date in how things work these days. So does it make sense for a band like Within Temptation to just release records anymore, you know, collections of 10, 12, 13 songs, when people doesn't have, if you look at Spotify, you know, and the abandon rates of how many people stop listening to a record after a certain number of songs.
You're totally right, yeah.
That's just big data speaking.
Yeah, that is something we're also thinking of. Like, that's a bit strange, but we still think that, you know, I'm from the 70s, and I still love, I had the cassettes, I saw the, you know, the vinyl, I saw the CD eventually, I saw the CD disappear again and see the streaming. So I've seen it all. And I'm still a girl that loves vinyl a lot, and I love physical products. So there will something be, I hope we'll keep that. So, but I'm not sure yet if that's going to happen, but we're aiming for a physical product eventually, you know, like that we're going to can offer our fans a vinyl or something like that. So, but you're totally right. When you look at Spotify and all the other streaming platforms, people are just listening to the first few songs and then just, you know, or you're a dedicated fan, you listen to everything. But, you know, that gets, the way people listen to music is changing. It is really changing. Everybody's giving up on the CDs and the vinyls, unfortunately. But yeah, that's our generation, I guess. And but the funny thing is, if I pass it on to my kids, I do. It's like, oh, how cool this is. Let's have a Sunday with only vinyl, and they love it. And they have their own even cassette decks in their bedrooms because they like to play around with cassettes and those kind of things. It will never be as big as it used to be because technology goes on, of course. But I like to make them see and feel how different it is than just playing press on the platforms, the music platforms. And yeah, that's my small contribution for the next generation.
But you're teaching your kids the long lost art of getting a pen and actually put it into the cassette tape.
Oh, they hate that, by the way. They don't understand how that still works. So,
so we have a section in Metal Hammer called Tour Live, which we'll be having this interview in text mode in Metal Hammer in print. And then we'll have a different section that will probably closer to the tour dates. We'll like to put this out, and there's a different set of questions, and I'd like to ask you. And the first one would be, what's the person or thing that you find the hardest to say goodbye to when you go out on tour?
Oh, my family, of course. Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, that's the most hard thing because, you know, the tour life and the home life and the family life is such, it's like black and white. It's so different from each other. It's so crazy. always when I come back from tour, I really have to get used to the different kind of rhythm that everybody has here at home. But also, like, you know, everything on tour is being arranged for you. How late do I need to be at the bus before we leave? How late do I have to be in the venue? When does the promotion start with press and everything? There's somebody picking me up then. And, you know, there's always somebody telling me what to do, when. And everything is already set for me the whole week, you know. And when I come home, it's like, okay, what are we having for dinner? And oh God, I was supposed to take care of that. Okay, yeah, you know, mind change. You know, those kind of things, you have to do everything yourself again, which is logical, of course, but you have to get out of that system that
little bubble.
Yeah. And you know, I'm sitting there like, okay, so what's up? When do I have to be where? When? And then it's like, Sharon, you have to take control of your own life again. It's like, okay.
You need to take your own trash out.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
So, well, that's a better answer than what I had a couple of months ago. I think it was someone from Cadaver, the metal band. He told me that the thing he missed the most was his pasta machine when he went on tour, because he couldn't bring his pasta machine with him. Of course, you need to buy flour and stuff like that, and you cannot do that in a tour setting. Probably he doesn't have kids. You know, I would miss my dogs, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, and my cats.
So, if you remember, what's been the largest crowd you've ever played to, and where was that?
It was 1 million people in Poland. It was Woodstock. It's a free festival, and it's crazy. I can't explain it more than one word. It's crazy. Because people are coming by with rubber boats on top of other people, and they're just pushed away like crowd surfing, but then in a boat, a rubber boat. And I saw the most crazy things coming by, and there were no accidents, not that I know of anyway. And it was. Yeah, it was crazy, but I loved it. It was so sensational. We were like, you know, I almost forgot my lyrics a few times. I was like, what is happening here? This is crazy. It's not possible. So many people. As far as I could see, it was like ants. It was like so many, but it was amazing. And I would do it again. I would love it to do it again. It was really amazing.
So now comes the other question. What's the smallest number of people you've ever played to, and where was that?
Well, we are playing in Ziggo Dome here in the Netherlands, which is a huge huge venue. But we had like a special pre-show, and was like, I think that was one of the smallest groups I've ever played for a full show, you know, with guitars and everything, full blast. It was like, I think there were 15 max, maybe 10. Yeah, that was really small. So but it was really lovely as well. But I was more nervous for that than the million in Poland.
Exactly, yeah, because with the others you need to interact so closely because they're so close to you, and it's different.
Yeah, exactly. They can see everything, every look that you do. Like, okay, if something goes wrong, they spot it immediately. Or when you are dreaming away and they say, hey, Pete, I see someone watching. Hey, she's. They see everything. It's really, you feel really naked, you know. So yeah.
So what's best for you in terms of touring? Flying, you know, when you just fly into a festival or a specific show, or when you have your own tour bus with your own little universe, you know, that you travel from city to city?
I'll always choose for the tour bus. Always, because I hate flying. I'm so scared of flying. And I have to do it with, you know, what I do now, you know, for the band, I have to go so many times by plane. But I really, for the first time, when I haven't been in a plane for a long time, I really have to, I'm weeks before it, I'm nervous already that I have to go by plane. It's crazy because when I'm in there, you know, when it's in the air, it's fine. But when I go up and when I go down, I'm just like, I don't need a breathing bag yet, but it, you know, when there's too much turbulence, I panic a little bit. But yeah, the tour bus is for me way relaxed because you just have your wine at the evening, you talk with everyone, it's fun. And, you know, with crew and band, it's all like one big family, and I love that. So, and you arrive in the mornings very relaxed. So I will always choose for the tour bus. It's amazing. It's like a school trip.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it is. You know, I mean, the smelly feet, you know, that's the only thing, you know, if you have, that's the only problem, I guess.
They're horrible.
So I'd like to know if there's any particular city that's magical to you. Of course, you don't want to say one name and not say the others, I guess, but there's always one place that you go and you say, this is my place. Maybe it can be your hometown or it can be any other place in the world. So what's the city where you feel magical when you play?
Ooh, yeah, there are many, that's true. There's one place, but I can't get to the name. What was the name again? I played there last year in Poland, which was beautiful. It was really a beautiful city. But what was the name? Because I'm really bad at names.
Poznan?
Yeah, Poznan. I think it was Poznan. Yes, yeah. I love it because it's historical, and I love this very much. But not to suck up, but Spain is my favorite country. It is. Well, I got family living there, and also Robert's parents have a house there. We come there so often. We love to go on holidays there. We love the culture, and so it doesn't matter. Any city in Spain is good for us. But we also like, food is also very important, and with Spain and Italy and France, it's always good, So yeah, those things are important. But so it's yeah, I got many cities that I like. Yeah.
What's the thing that you usually do? Your warm-up routine before going on stage. What do you usually do? You have a shot of whatever whiskey and then warm up your voice, and what's the usual routine that you do? You lift weights?
It's no. What I do is I do a lot of city trips with my friend. She's my makeup artist, and we became friends since we started working with each other like 15 years ago already. So that's how long I know her. And so I go on city trips with her most of the time if she's with me. And otherwise, I just hang out with the guys, and sometimes we do workouts. Yeah, a lot of cultural stuff, like I said. And besides that, before the show, then like a few hours before, I have, of course, the promotion and everything. So get my makeup on a little bit. And then afterwards, I have dinner. And then I meet up with the guys again. We have a sound check. Then we have, again, then I'm going back to my backstage. I have a room for myself because some of the guys are really they're everywhere. They're all over the place. They're very, well,
excited.
Yeah, I'm sorry?
Excited, I guess, for the show.
Yeah, nervous, maybe also a bit, and they're just very outgoing, and I just need to quiet. I need to quiet for my head. I need to prepare myself mentally because I'm always very nervous when I go on stage. And if I have too many people around me, I get agitated. So not because I'm a diva, but just really because I really need the peace before, because otherwise I can't give myself. I'll get too nervous. And after a few shows, that doesn't happen to me anymore. I won't be that nervous. But the first 5 shows, I'm pretty nervous before I go on stage. It's a little bit of an anxiety somehow. Strangely enough, it has to do with the fact that I want to do everything perfect. And then luckily I have Ruud in the band who always tells me, Sharon, come on. This is what you always dreamed of, this is your dream come true. You wanted to make music, you want to sing. That's what makes you happy. So what are you doing to yourself, Tonight you're going to be pissed at yourself again because you didn't enjoy it, because you were so nervous and you ruined it for yourself. And he's so right, I should enjoy the moment, especially now that we are doing this already for 25 years. Why haven't I learned this already? But he's always keeping me, sharp and saying, cut it out, enjoy the moment, and forget about being perfect. You don't have to be perfect as long as people are enjoying themselves. It's good. And that helps me. I need to hear him say it.
So in connection with that, what's been your most embarrassing moment on stage?
Most embarrassing? Oh, most embarrassing. Well, that was the most embarrassing and at the same time pretty funny, I guess, for others. Well, I had this show in the Netherlands. It was in a church, and it wasn't a real church anymore, but it was for a venue. It was a venue, and we were doing this DVD. And my how do you call it? My zipper of my dress broke. Mm-hmm. So I heard our drummer going another round and another round. And it's like, oh my god, he's doing the 3rd round already. And I couldn't get it up. This dress, it wouldn't work. So I went on with one hand on my back and just trying to sing like nothing's here, nothing's happening. But completely stupid. And at a certain point, I couldn't hold my. It was like, okay, I can't sing and hold my dress up anymore. So it was like, yeah, I had to stop and to take my time really to get off stage. But it was like, yeah, that was really ridiculous. But people found it very funny and understood it. And, you know, my drummer still hates me for that moment because he was playing this drum intro forever and ever.
That's what the studio editing is for, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. But the people who were there was like, I heard this already.
So, what's been the most glamorous thing that you've ever done on tour?
Glamorous.
Yeah, that day that you took a private jet to a festival or something.
Oh,
You say,
yeah, we did that once. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We had a show in England, and we came from, I think it was Portugal, and we had to be very quickly in England to play on Bloodstock, I think. And to make it in time, we went by a private jet, and we had never done that before. And it was pretty scary also. It was a very small plane. We could also take our own seats behind each other because there was only us in the airplane. We never did that before. But to make it in time, and we had to fly from Bloodstock immediately to Canada because we had a show in Montreal, I believe. And it was like hectic, crazy, not a lot of sleep, but it was fun in the end. So, but yeah, that was the most decadent we ever did. So yes, we did that once.
Okay, so Sharon, I'd like to bring this interview to a close. I don't know if you want to say anything to our Spanish readers or Spanish fans who love you big time. So, up to you.
Well, I really thank you for watching this. And as I already said, I love Spain. I love Spanish people and your culture. I'm so sorry that you had such big losses with this virus. And I really hope things will turn to the better soon. And I really hope to see you guys as soon as possible because my heart goes out to you. And I love you guys. Hope to see you soon in real life, playing for you guys. I can't wait. And until then, stay safe. And I hope to see you soon.
So Sharon, thank you so much for the time and the chance. Have a great time. Have a great evening with your family. And we'll see you around here in Spain sometime soon, okay?
Most definitely. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks
Take
for
care.
Bye-bye.